and it's a privilege and an honor to connect with all of you, and I thank nasscom and the design and engineering team for having me here for a session which is going to be a little different from many of the sessions that I attended. We are going to start from a macro level. Generally, we feel the need for energy when we are starved of energy. So we will start with macro level, and recently, energy has been in focus because which shop we buy the energy from. There is a lot of, tensions going around as to how do we source our energy. So let's dive deeper into it. It's a strategic shift. Hydrogen is a strategic shift, and most of my slides are related to India because for India, it holds more than decarbonization. It's about energy independence. So let's dive into it. How do we, so who are the energy users? India is already number 3 in using electricity, and all of our activities require energy. So that's the importance of energy. As we do more and more computing, more and more AI, the energy shift from the conventional users of energy, which is, in old generation, even now, cement plants, steel plants, etc., to data center. Today, a data center in Whitefield may be requiring or consuming 50, 60, 100, 150, 200 megawatts of electricity. India's electricity has been growing along with our economy. Our per capita GDP from 650 kilowatt hour is now about 1500 kilowatt hour. And we are one of the country which is going at 6 to 7% energy needs. Some other countries, especially the developed ones, have been able to manage their growth within 1 to 2%. But as India undergoes electrification, many of new industries come up, and as especially the new sectors, including the information technology, are all driven by more and more power. We are already at number 3 in power generation, right? But at 2050, this is supposed to be tripling, And this is driven by various sectors. If you see on the right, most of the current energy is consumed by industrial sector, in addition to others. And so the other challenge is the last century, we have powered the energy requirements through fossil fuels, coal, oil, natural gas, and it has brought so far. But as you can see, these has their own impact on climate, because most of the way this energy is generated, fossil, is through generation of carbon dioxide. So you have global warming. There are some believers of global warming. There are less believers of global warming as well, and this keeps on changing. But what is certain for a growing country like India is source of energy is important. Even though global warming impact or decarbonization is one lever, for India, sourcing the energy and having energy independence is quite important. India is doing well, to use resources which are available to us. So if you see, this is a gigawatt addition, the net electricity capacity addition. And what you see here is that it is tilting towards renewables. In the year 24-25, we added 33 gigawatt, the largest after China. And most of it, what you see is yellow, which is solar, and blue, which is wind. The share of coal, if you can see, is coming down consistently since 2015-16, right? We have actually surpassed our commitment of COP21 Paris of renewable energy. And renewable energy is what is driving today. India, it's about more than 1.5 lakh crore market in terms of revenue every year, the renewable energy. Now, renewable energy, which is like a boon, also has certain challenges. As you know, solar availability depends on time of the day, as well as sometimes season and the cloud cover. Wind again depends on season and natural phenomena. So in this situation, energy storage is very critical, because as we go building more and more renewables, we have to manage the grid. One simple concept of energy is unless it is stored, the generation has to match the demand. And there have been scenarios where excess generation had to be actually wasted because there is not enough demand when the generation is happening. So matching demand and generation with the renewable source, and that's where there is a role of hydrogen. That hydrogen can be a carrier of energy, hydrogen could be a storage of energy, and it can help India to move towards more and more renewables. The good part of these renewables is the cost. Cost is real big driver. You can see in Europe, post the Ukraine war, the energy cost and energy bills of people have really inflated. In our own office, 30% of monthly is going for energy bills in UK, so which is substantial. So therefore, cost of energy is important, especially for India, which is why renewables are better, because other than capex and maintenance, the per se energy is abundantly available. So hydrogen is rediscovery. There have been waves of hydrogen. Hydrogen has remained promise of future for too long a time, like 20 years we are talking about hydrogen, right? What is different this time, right? We'll dive into that. This slide is about, the source of hydrogen. And when we talk of source of hydrogen, let's understand that hydrogen is 75% of universe mass. When the fusion happens, stars and the entire universe system is made up of hydrogen as the basic element, helium as the another one, and together this constitute more than 90% of the entire chemical matter. So it's abundantly available, right? It's a feedstock as well as energy carrier, okay. And the good part is hydrogen combustion results in not carbon dioxide, but water as an emission. So in a way, it has got all the ingredients well. So now what is the challenge if it has been so, right? We'll dive deeper into that. But here on this slide is mainly about what are the different ways. So currently, India is again third largest hydrogen user and producer, but most of our hydrogen is gray hydrogen, which is produced by steam methane reforming process, which is driven by natural gas or fossil fuels, right? It has certain carbon intensity. So on the vertical axis, you have carbon dioxide per kg of hydrogen. It generates almost like 10 to 12 kgs of carbon dioxide per kg of hydrogen. Whereas the green hydrogen, which is what we'll talk about today, is about 2 kgs. And this also includes the entire value chain carbon emissions which are required, like for solar generation or electrolyzers and things like that. So there is a great opportunity to decarbonize to green hydrogen. So for India, it can become basically a big provider of sustainable growth, multiple sector decarbonization, and as we speak, you can read the various ways in which hydrogen can be utilized. So typically, the green hydrogen concept is you have renewable energy, and then you have electrolyzers, which is what my company makes, but I see today more as a representative of hydrogen sector than a company representative. So the electrolysis is where you split water by using electricity, hydrogen and oxygen. And in some cases, the hydrogen is used directly. In some cases, the hydrogen can be converted, transformation. So you have synthetic fuels. So basically what we call as sustainable fuel. There is a lot of talk about SAF, sustainable aviation fuels. There are some mandates coming, percentage to be utilized. You convert from hydrogen ammonia. Ammonia is our primary source of urea fertilizer, and India's biggest consumer of ammonia is today the fertilizer industry. Then you can use in various transport like shipping. Shipping is one of considered hard to abate sectors because ship itself cannot run the larger cargo ships on batteries because the economics of volume required for such storage. So there has to be some high intensity energy for shipping. So shipping is one of the hard to abate sector. There it could be there, either hydrogen or ammonia. Using hydrogen in city gas pipelines, what is called as blending, to reduce fossil and increase renewable. So that's one of the solution. And then the end use, currently, if you see out of this, the hydrogen users are refineries, which they use is for hydrogenation. So when we process diesel, petrol, diesel mainly, you need to hydrogenate. So that is used as feedstock. Again, in fertilizer, it is used as feedstock. Heating is not much, very, very rare. India has hydrogen-fired boilers, but these are very concentrated in alkali industries. Power generation, it can be used, but current usage is almost, negligible. Now, what are the challenges? The first and foremost challenge is cost. Today the cost of gray hydrogen produced from natural gas is about, you can say, $2.5 per kg, whereas the green hydrogen is, so far it was about $6. But the recent tenders, if you have read newspapers in the last maybe a month or so, we have been able to come below $4. So in a way, today we are talking about oil prices of about $80 per barrel. If imagine the oil prices go up at certain point of time, at the current $4 itself, there may be a parity of cost, but a lot of it is about how do we bring down from the $4 to a parity level first, and then to actually stop our imports and achieve our target of 2047, that energy independence, which means we would not have to import any energy in India, which is currently imported in the form of coal, oil, and natural gas. So the challenges are cost, and we will make maybe just about 2 minutes to talk about cost. There is no electrolyzer manufacturing capacity, and therefore significant efforts required from multiple directions to actually realize this potential of hydrogen. And I would say India has done really, really well, to take this leadership. Very rarely, other than China, I would say no other country is looking at this in far more comprehensive way, than India. So India has done the National Green Hydrogen Mission in 22 and 23 first quarter. And there is a far more focus. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy is driving this entire thing. The clear objectives are set. So 5 million tons of green hydrogen. Currently, we use 6 million tons, so we are talking of almost 90% replacement of our gray hydrogen with green hydrogen. This is for 2030. So all the objectives are for 2030. Currently, we have no electrolyzer manufacturing capacity to build that 60 to 100 gigawatt. For this hydrogen generation, we need renewable. So you need to put those amount of renewable energy. The commercial implications of this is, so 50 million tons of CO2. See, our energy industry is the largest contributor of CO2. Almost 75% emissions are through fossil fuel used in energy industry, as well as some sectors like transport, what we saw before. So there is a huge potential to decarbonize. These are the targets which are set, and I think these are being driven in a far more involved way through this supporting architecture. So there are meetings conducted every month for follow-up, right? From 19,000 crore, which was the support has increased now to almost 25,000 crore. There are key enablers, and there are ideas in action, which means from 23 to now, multiple of these have already been done. So there are open access rules notified. What is that rules is basically we'll need a lot of renewable energy. And today, if the renewable energy generated in one state has to be used in another state, right? There are multiple handovers happening. The Rajasthan grid puts it into probably national grid, and then it gets transferred. Let's say the generation is happening at Bangalore or Chennai. Multiple local grids are involved. And as you know, we had lots of complicated mechanisms. So a lot has been done by government to reduce all of that and make it far more simpler, including not just for this hydrogen, but for otherwise a national grid. So if you see today, India's grid is far more robust than even a developed country's grids like United States, because we have a one national grid. It works at much higher 132 kV, and a lot of local feeders are not connected to that. There is far more integrated approach. A lot of technology has been used for power management, right? And a lot of has been done in this. I'll go a little quick. Okay, so why am I probably here is John Cockrell is based in Belgium, but we are basically making electrolyzers. We have factories in China, Europe, USA, and we are now setting up our factory in Kakinada. One of the first pioneering projects coming up in India is the 1 million ton per annum green ammonia plant at Kakinada of AM Green. This is where renewable energy will be used. Green ammonia will be made through electrolyzers plus, Haber-Bosch process, and it will be exported. So actually, we are utilizing the, sun and wind energy from India to generate ammonia and export it. Right now, this is a 640 megawatt project. It will be operational by 2027. This will be the first largest project to come up in India. As a part of this National Green Hydrogen Mission, there are 20 plus electrolyzer companies already setting up electrolyzer manufacturing, and you have all the big wigs of industry like Reliance, Adani, L&T, everybody's doing. So in a way, it's a very concerted exercise to shift from fossil to renewables and try and find solutions for energy storage, grid balancing. I have 3 minutes showing there, so I'll keep 2 for question answers. I think there have been great success in recently in all of these efforts, right? And I want you to concentrate on this top one, where the recent tenders have discovered about $640 per ton of ammonia price. The previous tender in Europe discovered $1,153 per ton. So it's almost at half, And this is no investment discovery, which means the user does not pay anything except this price, which is discovered for 20 years of build, own, operate, 20 or 25. Some tenders are 20, some are 25. So this is possible, and why this time's hydrogen wave or hydrogen enthusiasm is more on stable ground is because the energy prices, especially the renewable energy prices in India, have been sustainably coming down. We are adding 25, 30 gigawatt every year, year on year. There are companies setting up solar manufacturing plants in India. The cells will be made in India. So the entire ecosystem is coming around to drive down the prices. I think government is doing a lot to lead, to simplify a lot of things related to energy and electricity. Also, many times when we talk of green, we talk of how much more it is going to be. Is there any subsidy? So I think government has been very consistent that the green hydrogen does not have to be, there could be initial motivational subsidies to start the sector, but certainly not a consistent subsidy, and I think that is playing out well. So with that, I end to say that, the climate challenge is there, but India is well focused on converting this hydrogen opportunity with multiple actions done simultaneously. So thank you, and any questions, I'll be very happy. Thank you.